in this video today, we're going to take our old boat. We've got the 1964 Johnson Deluxe. We're going to pull that thing up here and we're going to get it winterized today. All right, guys, so if you're winterizing your boat, I can't stress to you how important it is to get that done and get it done early. Don't, put it off thinking you're going to go back to the lake again. Once fall gets here, most of us are done going to the lake, and that's where we're at now. It's, a couple weekends after Labor Day, and so it's time to get that thing winterized. Let's just get it off the list and get it done. That way we don't have to worry about, some unpredicted cold weather or whatever sneaking up and catching you and causing a lot of damage to your boat. All right, so one of the first things we got to do is we need to make a list, all right? You need a list of the items that need to be taken care of, and I've got my little list right here already. There's 14 or 15 different things here that we got to get done today, and that's what we're going to take care of in this video. All right, so we're going to take this list that we got here, and guys, I'm going to make sure that I put it in the description for the video. I'm also going to list it a couple of times in the video for you to review, and the reason why I do these particular items and in this particular order, okay? The order of what we're going to do is important also. All right, so let's go get the truck back down there to it and get it pulled up here into the driveway and get to work and get this done today. Step one is you want to get everything out of that boat. All your life jackets, seat cushions, floats, skis, knee boards, anything that you may have in your boat like that. Just go ahead and get it all out and store it away in a nice dry location. All right, guys, the next thing we got to do is we need to put the fuel stabilizer in the gasoline that is still in the tank, okay? I went up and I looked. It's got an 18-gallon tank, and there's less than half in there. So there's about 7 gallons, I'm estimating, that are still in the fuel tank. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up this fuel stabilizer in a measuring cup here and pour it into the tank. And then maybe, the rest of the day, me shaking and bouncing around, it'll help mix it up, okay? All right, so 3 ounces of this fuel stabilizer will be just about the right amount for 7 gallons of gasoline. And that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to mix it up there, I'm going to pour it into this measuring cup and go pour it down into the gas tank. All right, so after I get that stabilizer in there, I just shake the boat back and forth with my truck 3 or 4 times there to get it mixed. All right, guys, now that we've got the fuel stabilizer in it and all that, the next thing we need to do is we're going to start this engine up and we're going to let it run until it's good and warm, okay, all the way up to its operating temperature before we go any farther. All right, guys, so let's get the water hooked up to this thing, get it fired up, man, let it rumble for a little while and get her good and warmed up. All right, guys, step number 4 is changing the engine oil and filter. And that's next on the list. While the engine's nice and warm after we ran it there for about 10 or 15 minutes, we want to get that oil out and let it drain. And I've got a special little tool that I made up there. You can see it on the right. It's just, an oil bottle that I cut the side of it out, and I've got a hose hooked to it going through the drain hole in the back of the hole there. And what that does is it just runs out into the pan that's sitting underneath it, and I'm screwing on a new filter. Right there, I'm dumping in the last of the engine oil. I got the engine there to the right oil level, and now I'm going to disconnect the fuel line and crank the engine back up and let it run out of fuel. All right, guys, you saw there we got the fuel line off of it. And what we're going to do now is just let it sit here and idle till it runs out of fuel, okay? And then once we get the fuel out of it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the fuel line down into some lantern. All right, so let me take just a second here and explain to you why I like to use lantern fuel. I have found through the years that it just holds up great. You can put it in your carburetor. Lantern fuel does not go bad. You know, it'll sit on the shelf for years and years and years and not lose any of its octane or whatever. It doesn't gum your carburetor up. So that's why I always use lantern fuel when I winterize my engine. I'll fill up the carburetor with the lantern fuel and I'll shut it off, and then next spring you'll see that this thing will crank right up. So let's let it run here until it runs out of fuel. Alright, so there you can see I got my fuel line going down into my can of lantern fuel, or camp fuel, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to crank the engine over here and get the carburetor filled back up with that lantern fuel. Let it run there for just a few seconds. Make sure the carburetor is good and full of the lantern fuel. Alright, now I'll go ahead and just reconnect my fuel line so I don't have to worry about anything getting in that hose and stopping it up or anything. Alright guys, we're all done changing the oil on the engine, and you saw there we ran the lantern fuel up into the carburetor, shut that thing off, hooked the fuel line back up to the the main line, and left the valve turned off until next spring. Alright, so next up now is the drive. What we're going to do on this, we're going to drain all 4 gear cases on this drive, just in case there's some water that got in it this year while we was running around the lake. So what we'll do is I'll drain all of them out and fill them back up to the proper levels, and put the plugs in them, and then we'll move towards getting the water out of everything. All right, so let's get the plugs out, get this thing drained out. Alright guys, that's got the drive done for us, changing the oil in all 4 gear cases. I gotta tell you, it's a messy job, alright? It takes a few minutes, and it takes a lot more oil than you think. I ran through about a good 2.5 quarts of oil there without no trouble. So anyhow, we got that done, and so next up we're going to clean the drive off and clean the transom seal. Alright, we're going to clean this transom seal here, and I can't stress to you enough how important it is to get all of that oil, that gear oil, and any residue of it off of that rubber transom seal. Alright, so after raising and lowering that drive several times to help get any water that was still trapped in the drive out, I take a little bit of antifreeze and pour down in through the opening there. Alright, next up is draining the engine block and manifolds and water pump. You see there I've got a valve for my manifolds, and I've got a little screw plug that goes into the engine block. Alright, and then on the front of the engine, I'll take the hose off the water pump itself and drain all the water out of it and leave the hose disconnected. Alright, I also will spray insecticide inside the boat, all up underneath the gunnels, all up around the bow and everything. And I mean, I just lay it in there good and heavy. If you don't, you'll end up with 100 spiders living in there, and God knows what else setting up housekeeping over the winter. So I just go ahead and spray a good heavy coat of that in there and get it done. Something else is I don't bother washing the boat or anything like that. When we're going to winterize it, there is no point in getting it super clean and all that to put it under a shed. It's going to get dirty while it's out there during the off season, and in the spring when we pull it out, that's what we do. We give it a real good cleaning inside and out, wax the boat, the whole works then. Alright, and I plug in a battery maintainer that I keep hooked to the boat all during the winter. And the last thing we're going to do is have a cold one, because we are done with the boat. Well, hey guys, I appreciate you watching this video. We got the old Johnson Deluxe all taken care of today, and she's put back away under the shed and good to go until next spring. Well, hey, I appreciate you guys watching this video with me, and I hope you come back for the next one.